Welcome back to This Week in Louisiana Politics. As we mentioned, President Biden's Build Back Better bill has passed the House of Representatives. A member of that body joins us now, Representative Troy Carter, Democrat from New Orleans. He actually joins us fresh off the floor. He's there on the House steps here. And Congressman, I just assumed you voted for this bill. I guess I should ask you, what did you vote just now?
I voted an enthusiastic yes for the American people, an enthusiastic yes for progress, an enthusiastic yes for hope and dreams, and to prove to the American people that Congress is listening and we're here to serve.
What was the final price tag on this bill?
$1.8 trillion. $1.8 trillion that will go a long way to providing very, very needed relief for the American people, creating universal pre-K, to invest in our young people, give them an opportunity for a fair shot at a solid education and commitment to success, reducing the price of insulin for the many, many people in our country that are plagued with dialysis and diabetes, making sure that we have an opportunity to build back better in a way that is unprecedented for the American people. It's truly a great day for the American people.
Now, Congressman, I know you're celebrating now, but this bill has an uphill battle over in the Senate. In fact, one of your colleagues, Senator Cassidy, says it's a hard no from him. What sort of fight do you expect in the Senate, and what would you like to say to your colleagues across the aisle?
Listen, it won't be easy. This is a success today, but there's still much work to be done. What I'd like to say to my colleagues across the aisle, both in Louisiana and throughout our country, is let's look beyond the politics. Let's look beyond the party and the partisan noise, and let's look to the hearts and minds and hopes of the American people who are so desperately looking for relief. They're looking for hope. They're looking for a change. They're hoping that we can get beyond the partisan divide and do the work of the people. So I'm hopeful that we will find the necessary votes in the United States Senate to continue this train moving, train to the best interest of the American people. And I would encourage all of them throughout our country this transformative legislation that is now before the House of Representatives is on their doorstep. They now hold the cards to making life better for Americans throughout every single state, throughout the land. Let's get it done. Let's get it done now.
Are you worried about any of the Democrats in the Senate?
Listen, we can't take anything for granted. We have to continue to work with and make sure that everyone understands the gravity of what this means. At the end of the day, I feel very good that we will have a unified front, but you never count your chickens before they're hatched. We've got a lot of work to do, as there was a lot of work to get to this point. Undoubtedly, there will be a lot of work to get this over the goalpost in the Senate. But I'm cautiously optimistic because I know, I see it in the faces and I hear it in the voices of the American people as I travel. They're excited. They're excited to see progress.
Some have suggested that when it gets to the Senate, it might go through some changes and therefore would have to go back to the House. Are you hearing the same thing? Are you worried about that?
Listen, that's a part of the process. There's no doubt about it that when we go through this, as it's often referred to as the sausage-making process of a legislative body, we know that changes may be. We know that there'll be a little tweaking here and there. I'm hopeful that by and large this bill will come out intact. And if there's some minor modifications, we'll have to determine and see those as they come. The reality is we have a $1.8 trillion, that's a T, trillion dollar package that is going to be good for the people of America. And I might add, all paid for. This is not going to be an inflationary issue. This is all paid for by taxing those at the highest bracket, those corporations that have utilized loopholes in the past to not pay their fair share. Well, guess what? We're collecting that now, and we're providing for the people without raising taxes, without generating any threat to inflation.
When asked about it, Senator Cassidy said some of the paid-fors, according to the CBO, are falling apart. He suggested that some of the paid-fors aren't really paid for. What's your reaction to that?
Very, very respectfully, I don't agree. I mean, you know, the devil's always in the details in determining and how one interprets CBO. The CBO is very firm that we are collecting to pay for this. And you dive inside the numbers and you look at the pros as to how it's developed. There's going to be people that have different views and different ideas depending on how it fits their narrative. The most important thing is it certainly pales in comparison to the huge deficit and problems that it caused the last two presidents when we gave these huge tax breaks to the richest of the rich, which put us in an incredible deficit spending position. So this measure, again, is paid for and it benefits the people who need it most.
All right. It sounds windy there in Washington, D.C. We'll let you get back inside and warm up there. Congressman Troy Carter, we'll be watching this bill as it goes through the Senate. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Stay with us. We'll be right back with more This Week in Louisiana Politics.